The Senate will come to order. Remaining under motions and resolutions, Senator Gazelka.
Good morning, everyone. I just have some comments before I make my motion. Over the past 3 months, Minnesota has endured a lot. We learned to live through a global pandemic. We suffered from an ordered shutdown of our economy by Governor Walz. We experienced unemployment rates at historic levels. We heard from the administration that we now have a $4 billion downturn in projected revenue from the state. We witnessed the tragic death of George Floyd. We participated in peaceful protests. We watched live as civil unrest broke out all over Minneapolis and St. Paul, including the complete destruction of the 3rd Precinct and the looting and vandalism of 1,000 businesses and buildings as local and state leaders failed to respond. And recently we watched a statue being torn down at the state capitol with no one to stop it. These have been challenging days for Minnesota. I'm frustrated this morning because I actually thought that we were going to do some things together. The Senate put forward 11 criminal justice reforms. The House had 22 in the end. But I actually thought that we were going to get something done until late last night. And we're not days away from some of the requests that the House wanted. We are a session away. There's a lot of desire that the House has, and I understand why. But I thought in a special session that we would be able to do some significant things. And we put forth banning chokeholds and sanctity of life, focusing on life, and we passed language that said if you were a police officer and your fellow police officer was doing something wrong, that you were to stop them. And we put 2 additional people on the post board, citizens, for more citizen input, and a host of other things. And then last night, to try to close the deal, we put forth arbitration reform that simply said if one of the parties didn't want to do arbitration, it went to a judge to work through, which was a big step. I've had some people say that these were very good steps that we took, and others, no, not enough. But we still had the $841 million of local government aid that was supposed to go out to all of our cities and communities throughout the whole state. The Speaker and I agreed that we would do that, and we had $58 million that we were going to spend in additional spending because the governor and his team said that they had saved $58 million in the hiring freezes, and so we said, we will work with you, we will agree on some things that we would spend money on. We also had language that helped the highway patrol, that they would be able to negotiate their contracts in a different way so that they'd actually get to a place of being par with all the other police officers. That was something that I personally wanted to get done and was agreed to. And so it was just a matter of putting the bills together last night, late. So like many of you, I took a nap for an hour and a half and got up and thought, okay, where's the information? The House was going to be putting it together. No information. We kept calling, kept asking, where's the information? Where's the draft? We want to be able to see it too. This is a bipartisan effort. Nothing. And I know that the governor, again, was involved in trying to defeat things that are good for Minnesota. I know that. And that's very disappointing. So it really leaves me no opportunity but to go sine die. We are weeks and weeks away from the possibility of doing something with criminal justice reform. If we can't take 11 things, I don't know how we get to taking more than that. You take steps. That's how we work here in the legislative bodies. But then to withhold all the money from all the cities across the state, no, I'm just really disappointed in that. So I'm not giving up. None of us, I think, are giving up. But I really believe the Senate is better than what it's been the last week. And I don't know that I don't know what it is. I do believe that we'll have another special session. I told the governor that anything that we agree on, that we put together, that it's written down, that the language is there, I'll come back. We should come back for that. We have taxes to do, we have a bonding bill to do, we have criminal justice reform to do. The CARES Act money we should not be coming back for, but we'll come back for that. But members, I think we needed a break anyway from each other and from this place so that we can get perspective on how important it is to Minnesota that we are working together and that none of us are going to get everything that we want. We're not going to get everything we want. And I know that you all asked this question. I asked this question too. When I'm irritated at somebody in this building or somebody in the executive office or over in the House, but what's best for Minnesota? And it causes me to reshift back to where we want to be. And so, members, I ask, in fact, I know that as we get out of here, the Senate will likely be the punching bag of the governor and the House. But I think you know what we're trying to do here. I think you all know what we're trying to do here. And I just ask that you help me get that done for Minnesota. Mr. President, I move that the Senate now do adjourn special session sine die.
Senator Kent.
Mr. President, I move to amend the motion that we adjourn to Monday at noon. If I may speak to that motion.
Please speak to the motion. Senator Kent.
Thank you, Mr. President. Members, I appreciate what Senator Gazelka has just outlined. As he said, we still could get something done, that we are just a session away. I agree. We could still get something done. And yet an arbitrary deadline was set on this special session to end over 5 hours ago. It is now 5:15 in the morning. Most of us have been up all night. I look around this chamber. I see a lot of the Senate DFL caucus here because we are committed to staying here and getting the work done. We should still be staying here and getting the work done. We should adjourn. We should take a break for the weekend, get some rest, and then come back on Monday and take care of this very important business that needs to be done on behalf of the people of Minnesota. It is our job. It is a job we all signed up for, and we are not done, and we owe that to the people of Minnesota. And so I strongly encourage a green vote on my motion to amend Senator Gazelka's motion that we adjourn till Monday at noon, and I ask for a roll call.
A roll call has been requested. Roll call granted. Further discussion on the amendment, the amended motion to adjourn. Senator Gazelka.
Thank you, Mr. President, members, and Minority Leader Kent. If the governor had not been twisting arms throughout the night, I would give hope for that. But because of the undermining of the process here, I am not interested in doing that. I'd rather set the table again, come to the place where we agree on the things that we agree, sign it so that nobody can say that's not what we said, and get it done at a different day. It's not just the spending for our local communities, it's the bonding bill, it's the tax bill, it's a number of things that we need to do. So I'm a no vote.
Any further discussion? So just to be clear, we are voting on the Kent amendment to adjourn, the Kent amendment to the Gazelka amendment. So the motion in front of us is to adjourn, and a roll call has been requested. Roll call granted. Seeing no further discussion, the secretary will take the roll. Any members who are not in the chamber, please come to the chamber to vote. I will call on Senator Frentz to report the votes of the members voting under Rule 40.7. Senator Frentz.
Thank you, Mr. President. Senator Carlson votes aye.
Senator Carlson votes aye. Senator Frentz.
Senator Eaton votes aye.
Senator Hayden votes aye. Senator Frentz.
That was actually Senator Eaton, Mr. President.
Senator Eaton votes aye. My apologies. Senator Frentz.
Senator Lane votes aye.
Senator Lane votes aye. Senator Frentz.
Senator Latz votes aye.
Senator Latz votes aye. Senator Frentz.
Senator Newton votes aye.
Senator Newton votes aye. Senator Frentz.
Senator Pappas votes aye.
Senator Pappas votes aye. Senator Frentz.
Senator Rest votes aye.
Senator Rest votes aye. Senator Frentz.
Senator Wickland votes aye.
Senator Wickland votes aye. Senator Frentz.
Senator Klein votes aye.
Senator Klein votes aye. Senator Frentz.
Senator Champion votes aye.
Senator Champion votes aye. Senator Frentz.
Senator Uyghur votes aye.
Senator Uyghur votes aye. Senator Frentz.
Senator Hayden votes aye.
Senator Hayden votes aye.
Thank you, Mr. President.
I'll call on Senator Jasinski to report the votes of the members voting under Rule 40.7. Senator Jasinski.
Thank you, Mr. President. Senator Anderson B. votes no.
Senator Anderson B. votes no. Senator Jasinski.
Thank you, Mr. President. Senator Chamberlain votes no.
Senator Chamberlain votes no. Senator Jasinski.
Thank you, Mr. President. Senator Hall votes no.
Senator Hall votes no. Senator Jasinski.
Thank you, Mr. President. Senator Jensen votes no.
Senator Jensen votes no. Senator Jasinski.
Thank you, Mr. President. Senator Lang votes no.
Senator Lang votes no. Senator Jasinski.
Thank you, Mr. President. Senator Newman votes no.
Senator Newman votes no. Senator Jasinski.
Thank you, Mr. President. Senator Senjum votes no.
Senator Senjum votes no. Senator Jasinski.
Thank you, Mr. President. Senator Howe votes no.
Senator Howe votes no. Senator Jasinski.
Thank you, Mr. President. Senator Ingebrigtsen votes no.
Senator Ingebrigtsen votes no. Senator Jasinski.
Thank you, Mr. President. Senator Westrom votes no.
Senator Westrom votes no. Senator Jasinski.
Thank you, Mr. President. Senator Osmic votes no.
Senator Osmic votes no. Senator Jasinski.
Thank you, Mr. President. Senator Housley votes no.
Senator Housley votes no. Senator Jasinski.
Thank you, Mr. President. Senator Anderson P. votes no.
Senator Anderson P. votes no. Senator Jasinski.
Thank you, Mr. President. Senator Rarick votes no.
Senator Rarick votes no. Senator Jasinski.
Thank you, Mr. President. Senator Matthews votes no.
Senator Matthews votes no. Senator Jasinski.
Thank you, Mr. President. Senator Abler votes no.
Senator Abler votes no. Senator Frentz.
Thank you, Mr. President. Senator Sparks votes yes.
Senator Sparks votes aye. All members having voted who have the desire to vote, the Secretary will close the roll. There being 32 ayes and 35 nays, the motion does not prevail. The amendment is not adopted. Members, we are now back on the original Gazelka motion to sine die. All those in favor, Senator Dibble?
Mr. President, I would like to request a roll call vote.
Roll call vote on the Gazelka motion to adjourn sine die. Senator Frentz?
Thank you, Mr. President. Thank you, members. I'd just like to point out that we're failing to get a bonding bill done. And while we try to be collegial...
Point of order, Mr. President.
Senator Limmer, for what reason do you rise?
Mr. President, we have a motion to sine die adjourn. An adjournment is not debatable, and I think Senator Frentz is out of order.
Mr. President.
I got it.
Senator Limmer, the motion to adjourn sine die is a main motion which is debatable. So Senator Frentz,
Thank you very much,
please continue. Make sure you keep it on the motion.
Thank you very much. To the motion, Mr. President. We're failing to do a bonding bill. Not the first time we have left this chamber without a bonding bill passed. And Minnesota's watching, and there are going to be some Minnesotans who are going to be mad. Among them are the men and women who would have those jobs that the bonding bill would create. Truck drivers, sheet metal workers, iron workers, the carpenters. Many of you received a letter from the 27,000-member Carpenter Association saying, please get a bonding bill done. There is no reason we cannot complete a bonding bill. We are ready to stay here. We should be voting no on the motion to adjourn sine die and send a message to those carpenters and to those workers that we will continue to work on a bonding bill until we reach the conclusion that a bonding bill has been passed. There are many reasons why it's good for us to do that. Interest rates are low. The state's credit rating is high. We're in a recession right now in which jobs are important. We hear a lot of discussion in this chamber about how we're there for working men and women and how jobs are important, and we are motioning here to leave sine die with no bonding bill passed. That does not sound to me like the Minnesota Senate is for jobs. Those carpenters are watching. What good do these bonding projects do? Oh, they do little things like build and maintain roads and bridges, create quality of life, clean water, housing. None of that's getting done here as we move to adjourn sine die. Why not keep working? Why not tell the people of Minnesota that we will stay here, that we will do the work that we were sent here to do? Let's come back to those carpenters, members. Do you know what happens if a carpenter gets a job and goes to it and he doesn't finish it? He doesn't get paid. Sometimes he gets fired. We should be staying to work on this bonding bill. We should be doing this for the state of Minnesota. And if we adjourn sine die without a bonding bill, believe me, carpenters and a whole lot more Minnesotans are going to be asking us, why didn't you stay and finish your work? I urge members to vote no to adjourn sine die. Thank you, Mr. President.
Further discussion, Senator Bingham.
Thank you, Mr. President. March 27th, members. March 27th. That's when President Donald Trump signed the CARES Act. April 22nd. That's when the initial guidance from the federal government came down. May 18th. It's our last day of regular session, members. Today is June 20th. Still no CARES bill. This should have been done in regular session. The legislature failed to do that. It is our job to do that. But because this body is walking away, it's now going to get transferred to a different branch. And it's not that branch's job. This is our job. Counties, cities, and towns cannot wait any longer. Ramsey and Hennepin counties have been able to do housing programming, business assistance, and the other 85 counties are waiting. They want to offer the housing assistance to their residents. They want to offer the business assistance to their residents. They want to be made whole from the expenses incurred from COVID, for the PPE, for the workers' comp. And they can't, because we're walking away now for the second time on this issue. This is not right. Now, I understand the House sent over a supplemental budget, so let's talk about what's in that supplemental budget. Right? Let's talk about the people that are protecting this Capitol right now. Their pay adjustment for the troopers is in that supplemental budget. I want to vote for it. I want to confer with the House's recommendation. Why wouldn't we? Veteran suicide prevention, veterans housing vouchers, BCA sexual assault examination kit money, corrections overtime for their staffing and community partners. All of these items are in that supplemental budget that we could either have an up and down vote, whether we want to agree to the House's amendment, which was their right to do, and we have to deal with that. And we could go to a conference committee and hash this out like a normal process. The legislative process that has happened during this session, but mainly during the special session, has been abhorrent. Informational hearings, no amendments being allowed. And here we are, one of the most important bills to help outstate Minnesota, to help our suburban core, to help our cities, and we're walking away from it. Our job. It's just regrettable and disappointing, and I know Minnesotans are going to be paying attention.
Senator Torres-Ray.
Thank you, Mr. President. Thank you, members. I would like to let you know that I don't want to go home because I don't believe that we have done our work. What we're doing right now is absolutely irresponsible. I don't know if you forgot, but on May 25th, George Floyd was killed by the police. We had an opportunity to do significant criminal justice reform, and we walk away from that responsibility. I want the public to know that Democrats are here and that we are ready to take on that responsibility. And we know that the entire country, and actually the world, is watching. We want to take that responsibility today. We are ready to vote. We are ready to do what the entire country wants us to do. But the majority is stopping us from doing that work. We want the country to know that. We want the country to understand what is happening in Minnesota today. We want that opportunity. The House passed the bill, and we want to vote. Mr. President, Senator Gazelka, we want to do that. We would like to know why you are stopping this body from doing the work that needs to be done. You know that this work needs to be done, and it needs to be done today. The disparities that exist in this state need to end. The suspensions of African American children in our schools need to stop. The deep disparities that exist in health, in education, labor, housing, they need to end. We had an opportunity to make those decisions in this special session. The executive branch wanted us to act, the House wanted us to act, and the minority in the Senate wanted to act. It was the majority, the Republican majority, that stopped progress today. Let's don't forget this day. Thank you.
Members, I have a list in front of me. Next on the list is Senator Dames, followed by Senator Clausen. Senator Dames.
Well, thank you, Mr. President. One thing about this position is there's never a dull day, and there's never a day that's the same. And tonight's quite surprising to stand here and listen to some of the debate and some of the conversation that's going on. First, I just want to remind you folks that a bonding bill starts in the House. It doesn't start in the Senate. From what I'm hearing, I think some of you forgot that. Another concern I have is you seem to have a lot of spunk, spirit, a lot of fight, a lot of aggression tonight. Can I ask where that was when you were dealing with the House to get them to move on some of these issues, or did you not do that? I'll let you decide that. But you know, there's a lot of finger pointing going on, and that's fine, but just make sure when you point your finger, the other one's probably pointing back at yourself. And so if you want to be aggressive about this and want to point your finger and say what we did do or didn't do, I wish you would have thought about that when you're making these comments about if you're here as Democrats, like somebody stated, the Democrats are here and they want the public to see that. I think the public has seen where you folks are at. I didn't see a lot of support trying to move the House to get some of these issues taken care of today. We've been here since last Friday, and it's the same old, same old. We think we got an agreement, and somebody backs out. We work a little harder to try to get it put together, and it falls apart. When you have the executive branch making comments that they're not going to accept anything till they get some things they want, well, you can point fingers at us. That's all right. But I think in reality, the public is going to understand rather quickly where the fingers are going to be pointed and how this is going to work. I usually don't get up and make speeches like this, and I usually don't get very fired up. But you know, I've sat here now since last Friday. We're trying to make things work. We're trying to get things done. We get very little cooperation with the executive branch. We seem to get some verbiage. We seem to get commitments. We seem to get promises, and they fall through. So if we're going to question what the issues are, before you start pointing fingers, think about what you could have done to make this work. Instead of standing up and snarling and being aggressive and talking about what we done or should have done, again, think about what you could have done that you didn't do. And if you didn't do it, if you did try to do it, unfortunately, you didn't do a very good job. And what causes me to say that is the same language you're using. So at this point, I think that it's time that we put the aggression away, we put it aside, we put our differences aside, and we decide the next time we come in, when the governor calls us back, that we come in with a plan that everybody agrees to and everybody sticks to it. And until that happens, I see no reason to come back. Can that be done? You bet that can be done. We've done it before. But you know what? It takes everybody in this body to do that. Not just one or two, not just one side or the other side. It takes both sides. It takes executive branch, and it takes both the House and the Senate. So let's keep that in mind as we start pointing fingers. Let's go sine die, and then let's make sure we got agreements that we can all live with and get the job done like we should. Thank you, Mr. President.
Next on the list, I have Senator Clausen, followed by Senator Rosen. Senator Clausen.
Thank you, Mr. President. Over the last few minutes, we've heard a lot of examples of work that has been left undone, and I'd like to add to that list. We have a state agency that's going broke, the Minnesota Zoo. And the reason is that they've had to shut down in mid-March. And 75% of their operating capital comes from admissions and other sales at the zoo itself. And they're at the point of time that they've used their reserves. They've laid off 49 employees. They just have the veterinarian staff. They have those that care for the animals and maintenance people on site. And I sent out an email to all of you yesterday pointing out some things about the importance of the Minnesota Zoo to our state and our quality of life, and also the economic impact that it has on our state. And so I don't think in the history of Minnesota that we've ever had a state agency go broke. And that's where we're at. And the zoo is at the point of having to remove animals to other zoos around the country. And I think that this would just be a tragic loss for our state. So I just wanted to bring that up. It's another example of work that needs to be done, and I would hope that we can find in the upcoming days a pathway to get that done. Thank you.
Next on the list is Senator Rosen, followed by Senator Nelson. Senator Rosen.
Thank you, Mr. President. And I would just like to take us back and just remind everybody in this chamber what we have done in this chamber right from the very beginning. We were the first ones that took care of this CARES Act to make sure that it got out to our local governments. Remember, members? It was a very good bill we passed out. It's $667 million we passed out, and the House wouldn't pick it up. But then the federal government changed the guidelines, and so we got a little more money. And it was the Senate that was the first one to go, hey, we're going to go ahead and do this bill at 841. And the House Speaker Hortman agreed to that, and we got all four leaders to agree to that, and we had 4 legislative people from each body working on that piece of legislation. In total agreement, Senator Dietzig, myself, Representative Marquardt, and Representative Garofalo. And we presented to you on Tuesday a really good bill that did, Senator Bingham, take care of our local government, our counties, and our cities, and our townships. I was very proud of that bill. And all of a sudden it comes back, loaded up with the governor's supplemental bill, which I had not heard about since it was first introduced. There was no conversation, members, on this bill until last Saturday when I'm on the phone with Commissioner France and Representative Carlson, and a slight mention about the governor's supplemental bill. There had been radio silence for 2 months on that issue. And I want to remind members, there was no House hearing on the governor's supplemental bill. None. So, when the governor said, we need to have 58 million of his proposals attached to this COVID bill or CARES Act bill, we came and we agreed to that. And this proposal in front of you is what the Senate put together and passed to all 4 leaders at about 1 a.m. this morning. No response. No response. And it was agreed upon. And Senator Clausen, your zoo was in here for $5 million, and I fought hard to keep that zoo in there because I know it's very important. And there was some people that did not want to keep that in there, and it wasn't from this body. So, members, I really take offense to saying that it's the Senate majority that is stopping the process here. We have done everything possible to make this work. And our honorable majority leader has had disparaging words thrown at him when he has done everything possible to make this work. So we better just settle down, and you better just take a look at what's really going on, because there's a third party that's working behind the scenes. If it was the Senate and the House, perhaps we could get something done, and we could move on and get the CARES Act done, and a bonding bill done, and a tax bill done, and everything else that needs to happen. But we have a third party here that is not fair, and it's the governor, who is really inserted himself in negotiations that should be completely between the Senate and the House. So I just wanted to set the story straight, members, because there's a lot behind the scenes you don't know. But I'm putting a lot of faith in our majority leader, because he is doing it in the best, as he says, it's the best for the state. What's the best for the state is always on his mantra. We hear it all the time. And we should consider that here, too. What's best for the state? And to sit here and wait and wait and wait for the House to come back to an offer that they requested, and we get nothing. We don't even get to see the language from the governor's supplemental bill. We have no idea what's going on. Radio silence. A special session's only supposed to last a couple days, you guys. A special days. And I think you're very generous, Senator Gazelka. So it's time to go home. It's time for everybody to cool down. It's time for everybody to be thankful for what we have, the work we've done, and we need to really realign our priorities once more.
Final discussion on the motion. Seeing none, the Secretary, Senator Jasinski.
Thank you, Mr. President. I'm also very unpleased with what's happening here this morning. I came as a mayor. A lot of you mayors out there are nonpartisan. We want to get things done. I came up here with the intention of doing that, getting things done in Minnesota for Minnesotans, not getting political. And that's what's happened. You all know it. It's gotten political. Last couple weeks, you bragged about how great the governor's approval rating was. Come down to my district. You all know his approval ratings are down, and he's getting political. We're politicizing our comments up here, everything we're doing. We're trying to help Minnesota. Small businesses across Minnesota have been devastated. The zoo closing, having issues with that? Yeah, open the zoo up. Let people come in and pay the money, and you'll have that money. Our small businesses, they've been shut down. Rural versus metro is totally different. You all know that. My district, 3 deaths, all in long-term care facilities. But yet we have every business shut down. And finally, the governor's getting it from what we've done to start opening them up. If we didn't pressure him to open up, who would? Finally, he's doing it because his approval rating's down. Shame on you, Governor. This state is never going to be the same with what's going on. We need to get together and work together to get what's done good for Minnesota. Open it up, quit the political rhetoric, and get things done. We want a bonding bill. We all know that. Everybody wants a bonding bill here. I have $150 million in the bonding bill. Only $3.75 for my district. I have money for roads and bridges across the state, township roads, bridges, BDPI, which is essential for our state to expand in our small cities across Minnesota. We have all kinds of money out there. We all want it. Please, people, let's get things going. There's been a tragic death of George Floyd. We all get that. It's devastating what has happened there. We put reform, 11 items. We've worked on that. We get pushback on that. We've had riots. Over 1,000 businesses and buildings have been demolished. And we stand here and we get political about it. We can't. We have to fix Minnesota. We have to. Governor, we know you're involved behind the scenes of trying to put bills down that we all want. Please, people, let's make Minnesota better. Let's get together and get the work done. We do need to cool off. Things didn't get done. There have been things happening behind the scenes that we have to stop. Thank you, Mr. President.
Discussion on the motion. Senator Little.
Thank you, Mr. President. As people know, I'm a former mayor as well. My entire tenure in the city of Lakeville was working with city council members that were on the opposite side of the aisle. So I spent my entire time working with people across the aisle. And we had some tough discussions, as Senator Jasinski knows. Sometimes the local issues are the toughest because they're the closest to the people. But when things got tough and we had disagreements, we didn't just say, hey, we're going to go home. Doesn't work like that. Can't get anything done like that. So I'm asking us to stay here and do our job. For weeks I've been hearing the legislature has to take back the power. The legislature needs to be more involved. Well, to do those things, you can't adjourn and go home. So I say, vote the motion down.
Senator Dibble.
Thank you, Mr. President. I'm interesting to hear the objections on the part of our colleagues on the other side. The simple fact of the matter is the motion to adjourn sine die has been made by the majority leader. That's a simple fact, plain as day. The minority leader offered a substitute motion, give us a few days, cool off, come back on Monday, and get back to work. The governor may be involved in discussions. Half the time I hear our colleagues wonder what the governor's position is. But to point the fingers at someone who's not in the room and blame them for lack of progress when we have the opportunity to come back and work through our differences and work through issues and figure things out doesn't make sense. We can do this. We've worked through many, many difficult issues with lots of differences in the past. We don't have to adjourn sine die. We don't have to walk away from the work that is crying out to be done. Members, I represent a part of Lake Street. I share it with Senators Torres Ray and Hayden. We are in a historical moment. People are crying out for us to get together and get our work done. Sure, there are differences. We bring different perspectives, different experience, different values. We work through those things. But to just throw in the towel and walk away and adjourn sine die makes absolutely no sense. And frankly, it means we're not doing our work on behalf of the people of Minnesota who are asking us, pleading with us, crying out to us to get this work done, to put people to work, as Senator Frentz so eloquently stated, to make sure that we're providing basic services through the supplemental budget, Who cares if it's attached to the CARES bill or not? Let's separate it and deal with it separately. We can do that. It's not hard. Let's deal with the small businesses that have experienced such devastation, and let's get to criminal justice reform like it's never been done. We can do this. Thank you, Mr. President.
Senator Gazelka.
Thank you, Mr. President and members. To be perfectly clear, we are not walking away from Minnesota. We are resisting a governor that has been undermining the process. This is not the first time that we struck a deal late at night to do exactly what Senator Dibble talked about. We separated the bills to fulfill a promise earlier that we would have a clean CARES Act money for our local governments. There was pressure from the governor, and the spending went onto the bill, and we said, no, that has to be clean. And we worked out a deal for $58 million of spending on many of the things that the governor asked for as a separate bill, and then the CARES Act bill was going to be clean, like we talked about. So we did do that. We did have an agreement. And suddenly the governor started calling behind the scenes and turned it against us. The question is why, when that local government money was so important to all of our communities? So we're not walking away from Minnesota. I do think it's wise to take a step back from what we're doing here. And I hope everyone here thinks about how they are responding. I want you to think about the things you've said and done. We're going to come back. I have never given up on the bonding bill. In fact, I even publicly said that we would go to 1.35 bonding, even though that's not where we were. Senator Senjum is working with Representative Murphy, and we've asked them to continue to work until they get it done. And once they get it done, it'll still be at least 2 more days beyond that to get it all put together. I still believe what we should do a tax bill that includes Section 179, which allows people to deduct things that they purchase for equipment, which will absolutely help inner city Minneapolis-St. Paul, all the businesses that have damage and need new refrigerators and things like that, and it'll also help the ag community. I still think we need to have the money for our local communities. We still want police accountability reforms. We're not giving up on that. So we're not giving up on Minnesota. We're not walking away from Minnesota. But I think we would all benefit from a breather here and think about how do we get those things done that we talked about. I think everybody in here has talked about those. I think the Senate, frankly, has been the one that's been leading on all of that. So if the governor is going to undermine, the Senate's going to lead. And we'll work with the House, and we'll get to these solutions that we need.
Senator Gazelka renews his motion for the Senate to adjourn sine die. Roll call has been requested. The Secretary will take the roll. Any members not in the chamber, please come to the chamber to vote. I'll call on Senator Frentz to report the votes of the members voting under Rule 40.7. Senator Frentz.
Thank you, Mr. President. Senator Carlson votes no.
Carlson votes no. Senator Frentz.
Senator Eaton votes no.
Eaton votes no. Senator Frentz.
Senator Lane votes no.
Lane votes no. Senator Frentz.
Senator Latz votes no.
Latz votes no. Senator Frentz.
Senator Newton votes no.
Newton votes no. Senator Frentz.
Senator Pappas votes no.
Pappas votes no. Senator Frentz.
Senator Rest votes no.
Rest votes no. Senator Frentz.
Senator Sparks votes no.
Sparks votes no. Senator Frentz.
Senator Wickland votes no.
Wickland votes no. Senator Frentz.
Senator Hayden votes no.
Hayden votes no. Senator Frentz.
Senator Klein votes no.
Klein votes no. Senator Frentz.
Senator Champion votes no.
Champion votes no. Senator Frentz.
And Senator Uyghur votes no.
Uyghur votes no.
Thank you, Mr. President.
I'll call on Senator Jasinski to report the votes of the members voting under Rule 40.7. Senator Jasinski.
Thank you, Mr. President. Senator Abler votes yes.
Abler votes yes. Senator Jasinski.
Thank you, Mr. President. Senator Anderson P. votes yes.
Anderson B or P?
B.
Anderson B votes yes. Senator Jasinski.
Thank you, Mr. President. Senator Anderson P. votes yes.
Anderson P votes yes. Senator Jasinski.
Senator Chamberlain votes yes.
Chamberlain votes yes. Senator Jasinski.
Senator Hall votes yes.
Hall votes yes. Senator Jasinski.
Senator Jensen votes yes.
Jensen votes yes. Senator Jasinski.
Senator Housley votes yes.
Housley votes yes. Senator Jasinski.
Senator Howe votes yes.
Howe votes yes. Senator Jasinski.
Senator Lang votes yes.
Lang votes yes. Senator Jasinski.
Senator Ingebrigtsen votes yes.
Ingebrigtsen votes yes. Senator Jasinski.
Senator Newman votes yes.
Newman votes yes. Senator Jasinski.
Senator Matthews votes yes.
Matthews votes yes. Senator Jasinski.
Senator Senjum votes yes.
Senjum votes yes. Senator Jasinski.
Senator Rarick votes yes.
Rarick votes yes. Senator Jasinski.
Senator Osmic votes yes.
Osmic votes yes. Senator Jasinski.
Senator Curran votes yes.
Curran votes yes. Senator Jasinski.
Senator Westrom votes yes.
Westrom votes yes. All members having voted who have the desire to vote, the Secretary will close the roll. There being 35 ayes and 32 nays, the motion prevails. The Senate is adjourned. Sine die.